Everyone, that manga kid here to do a haul video for January and February of 2019. I was not expecting to have a lot of books to show you, honestly, but then I found two ads on Kijiji, which is like Canadian Craigslist, for a bunch of series that I was really interested in and went a little bit overboard. So I have a lot to show you now. um, I'm just going to start off with the anime, which I did buy in February, but it's the only anime that I bought. This is 91 Days. It is a story set during Prohibition in the States, and it's just a story of revenge, and I really loved it when I watched it the first time, so I've wanted to own it ever since, and had a gift card from Christmas, so I decided to buy the Blu-ray series, and I'm really enjoying rewatching it at the moment. So that's the only anime that I got. So for January, I was really good, and I only had a few pre-orders come in, one of which is Gantz, the Omnibus, the huge 3-in-1. This is volume 2. Haven't even opened it. You can see it's still in the shrink wrap. This is all I'm going to get of Gantz, at least for now. I had the first two volumes pre-ordered. I'm not going to spend any more money on Gantz at this point, unless when I do read this, I'm blown away and I love it, but I'm kind of expecting that it's not going to be much different than the first 3 volumes, which I've already read. I'm glad I gave it a try, but at this point, I'm not looking to buy any more of Gantz. Another pre-order was Dead Demons Destruction by Inyo Asano. This is volume 4. Another super thin volume. I really enjoy these, but they're very expensive. But I love Inyo Asano stuff, and I really like this series, and it's pretty great. So I enjoyed that volume when it came. And another pre-order was volume 10 of Waiting for Spring. Great shoujo series. I've talked about it tons of times before. Go check it out if you haven't already. But yeah, so that was all I got in January. I was being super good, and now comes everything I got in February. So I'll start off with the new stuff. Everything else I bought used, but I got 3 volumes. I bought Shortcake Cake Volume 2. This is a new shoujo beat series about a girl who moves into a boarding house, and she's in high school, and she wants to be closer to school, so she moves into a boarding house. I don't know much about it. I haven't read it yet. I don't own volume 1, but I want the series, and volume 2 was really cheap on Chapters, so I just bought it, and I know I'll get volume 1 at some point. Volume 4 of Monkey High, just continuing. I had the first 3. I bought them used. I've read this series before. I love it. I've wanted to own it for years, and now I'm finally just going to slowly pick it up. And I have talked about Monkey High before. I think it was the last readathon that I did. It's a great shoujo series if you haven't read it before. And then the final volume of Aka, 13 Territory Inspection Department by Natsume Ono, volume 6. I will definitely be making a full review video about this series, so look out for that. It's a great political drama, slow slice of life kind of feel to it. Excellent story. Great art, as always, from Natsume Ono, and definitely one of my favorites by her. So I would say check it out if you haven't. There's another new one, actually. I lied. Welcome to the Ballroom, Volume 4. Again, I'm just picking these up slowly when I find them for a good price. So I enjoyed this volume, and I'll just continue to pick these up when I find them. And next, I think everything else that I got is used. So from Goodwill, I found a few volumes, one of which is Princess. This is an old DMP boys love series. From what I can tell, it's about this boy who's very cute. He goes to a all-boys school, and they have like a contest where they dress up as girls, and so everyone's excited because he looks really pretty, and from what I can tell, he doesn't want to participate in this tradition. I haven't read this yet. I think it's a 5-volume series. It looks interesting. I'm excited to read it and hopefully in the future find the rest of the volumes, but at this point I don't know much about it. I also picked up volume 1 of Love or Money. This is a manhwa series, out of print, Tokyo Pop title. I read this and really loved it. This is also, I believe, a 5-volume series. and I really hope to pick up the rest of it because this is so much fun. It's about this girl who's money obsessed to the point of like, she's just like self-destructive and then destructive to the people around her because of how obsessed with money she is. And so her grandmother leaves in her will a bunch of these very specific things that she has to do in order to inherit her money or her inheritance, which is a lot of money. Her grandmother's very rich, and if she doesn't meet these requirements within a specific amount of time, then her inheritance goes to somebody else. And so she, being money obsessed, wants to fulfill all these requirements, one of which is marry a boy that she doesn't get along with. So it's kind of a shoujo-ish fun story with a different sort of take on it that I've never really read before. Really, really enjoyed it and can't wait to read more. So hopefully I'll be able to pick up more of it in the future. Another series, this is a one-shot as far as I can tell. It's called Call Me Princess. It's by Tomoko Taniguchi, and it is a CPM manga publishing. It's out of print. Publisher doesn't exist anymore. I just bought it because it was a one-shot. It was like $2 at Goodwill, and I figured, why not? It's an older title, clearly based on the art, and figured if I hate it, I only spent a couple dollars on it, so it doesn't really matter. And I haven't read it yet. I started it. I'm only a few pages in, so can't really comment much on the story. Next, super stoked to find volume 1 of Honey and Clover. This is a older shoujo, or maybe it's a josei title actually, about college students. And it's like a growing up slice of life kind of story, just about being that age, that college age, and trying to figure out your life. I've watched the anime and really liked it, and I've wanted to read the manga ever since. It's about 10 volumes long. I just haven't bought it, honestly. I don't think it's out of print, but I just haven't bought it, and I'm really happy I found volume 1 because now I can start it and then see if it's something I do legitimately want to go and spend the rest of the money on the rest of the volumes. But yeah, it's one I've wanted to read for a very long time and just haven't yet. So this is the first batch. There was a girl on Kijiji selling a bunch of series, 3 of which I was extremely interested in. So if you've followed me for a while on this channel, you know that I love Lovely Complex, or Lovecom. And I had been looking for volume 4 and 13 of Lovecom for a long time. Haven't been able to find it because they're out of print. I managed to track down volumes 2 and 15, which are also out of print, but could not for the life of me get 4 and 13. So I rebought the entire series off of this girl who had all of it for a decent price, and I'm just going to sell all of the volumes that I already owned, because I worked out the math in my head, and I've been wanting to reread Lovely Complex for a very long time and just haven't been able to because I was missing those 2 volumes. And I worked out the math in my head, and I know what I need to sell the volumes I already owned for to make back and make it worth having rebought the entire 17-volume series for just these 2 volumes, which, by the way, all of them are in pristine condition. So I just, cost-benefit analysis, I just rebought the series because I really, really wanted these 2 volumes for a long time and I couldn't find them, so it was worth it. Also, I got a cheaper price on everything else I bought from her just because of the sheer amount of stuff I bought. So it made it worth it. I'm not mad at myself for doing it. But now I have a ton of Lovely Complex to sell. So that's that. The other thing is, she had all 20 volumes of Black Cat, which again, if you've watched my videos in the past, you know I owned volumes 1 through 6, which I found at Goodwill, and I paid about $12 for all 6 of them. And this girl had all 20, and for a very good price. And so I decided to rebuy the 6 volumes I already had and then buy the rest of the series as well. So again, I'll be reselling 6 volumes that I already owned of Black Cat. But I'm not mad at that because, again, I only paid $12 for them initially. So I'll definitely make more money than I spent on this series. at least the first 6 volumes that I had to rebuy. So super stoked about this. This is a series I really, really enjoyed when I read the first 6 of them. So I've been looking to buy the whole series for a while now, and just so happens a girl in my town was getting rid of all 20 of them in, again, pristine condition. Yeah, I'm super stoked about that. This is volume 14. I've read only through to volume 8 at this point, so I'm just looking forward to continuing this series. This is about kind of these, not necessarily bounty hunters, there's a different word for them in the series, but they basically are bounty hunters. But the main character, Train, is, he used to be part of like this mafia-esque group, and now he is kind of working on the side of the law. But the characters are just so much fun. The humor's great. The art is awesome. And I'm just having a really, really fun time with it. This is the final volume, volume 20. I'm just super stoked about it. I'm really happy to own all of it now, especially since there's quite a few volumes that are out of print. Yeah, I'm just super stoked about it. And the final series I bought from her, which she had all of, again in pristine condition, is Battle Royale, Tokyo Pop edition, single edition Tokyo Pop. I have read this entire series at this point in time, and I will be making a video about it. If you, for whatever reason, do not know what Battle Royale is, it is a series about this group of high school students, this class, it's a middle school class, who get put on this island and have to fight to the death until there is only one of them remaining. It's kind of a government run program thing, and it's very, very gruesome, extremely disturbing, sexually explicit, as you can see, and definitely not for the faint of heart. I have not read the original novel. I have wanted to for a long time. I have seen the movie of it a while ago and enjoyed it. It is a series I've always been interested in for a very long time. Even before I knew there was a manga version, I'd always wanted to read the book. But yeah, really, really stoked to own all 15 volumes in pretty much new condition. Really enjoyed it. Very disturbing, just as gross and disgusting as I was expecting it to be. And had a fantastic time reading it, and will definitely be making a review of the series at some point here in the future. And so that's what I bought from the first person on Kijiji. And then there was another guy also selling a bunch of stuff. This one's more mismatched. The other girl had a ton of out-of-print series that she had like the complete series of. This guy had more just random volumes of everything. So I bought a bunch of stuff off of him. So I guess we will continue with the out-of-print stuff. I believe all of Hellsing is out of print. This is a Dark Horse. This is actually the hardcover Barnes & Noble exclusive release of Volume 1. The only hardcover one that I think was released of Hellsing. I could be wrong, but I have the hardcover one. So he had the first 8 volumes of Hellsing. I believe there's 10 in total. I know it's like vampire related. I've never read Hellsing or watched it. It's something that's always intrigued me, but I just never, thought much about. But he had it, and I was buying a ton of other stuff anyway. And it's something that has always kind of been in the back of my mind. So I figured, why not pick up most of the series? Again, I'm missing the last 2 volumes, which sucks. But at least I have 1 through 8, and hopefully will enjoy that. Next, the reason I contacted him in the first place is because he had a few volumes of MPD Psycho by Eiji Otsuka. I've wanted this series for a long time. This is an extremely gruesome, grotesque series about a detective who has multiple personality disorder, and it's just lots of disturbing murder and kind of unraveling of a mystery. Unfortunately, he only had volumes 1 and 2, and then 7, 8, and 9, so I could only read volumes 1 and 2, and I don't have the rest of it to read. But, and again, also Dark Horse dropped this series, so it was never fully released anyway. These are lovely releases, though. This is all like embossed on the covers. I can't open it, but the page quality is really nice. The ink is really nice. These are heavy. They're quite small, but they're very heavy, dense books. Very, very nice releases. So I own 5 of the volumes at this point, but unfortunately could only read the first 2. And then he also had the first 3 volumes of Eden, It's an Endless World. This is a series that I have been wanting to read and check out for a very long time. Again, this is all out of print, unfortunately. I believe there's like 13 or 14 that were released in English. Another series that Dark Horse dropped, but it's a post-apocalyptic series with really cool art and just really interesting. I don't really remember the premise off the top of my head right now, but I've been interested in it for a while. So at least now that I have the first 3, I can check it out and see if it's something in the future that I want to track down the rest of. Next, he had the first omnibus. These are 2-in-1s of Frank and Fran, another very grotesque, gory series about, I believe this girl, she does like surgery on people who want something from her. I don't really know much. All I know is it's really, really gruesome and gross. I think she's trying to fulfill people's wishes or something, but it doesn't go exactly as they always plan it to. And it usually involves some kind of grotesque surgery-related thing. I could be completely wrong. I haven't read it yet, and I believe these are out of print now. I could also be wrong about that, but everywhere I search, it says that they're out of stock and not looking to replace more. So yeah, I think there's 4 in total. There's an 8-volume series, so 4 2-in-1s. I own the first one. It's a series I've had my eye on for a long time and just never bought, unfortunately. But now I have volume 1, or omnibus 1. Next is another series I've wanted for a long time, but it's Yen Press, and these are tiny volumes that are very expensive. So I bought volumes 1 and 2 of Gabriel Dropout off of this guy. A fun series about angels and devils who are now on Earth doing like a 1-year homestay to learn to appreciate human civilization, I guess. And it's just hijinks out the wazoo. It is so funny. I loved the anime, and I've been wanting to read the manga ever since. Next, another Yen Press title I've had my eye on for a while, 1 Week Friends. This is a 4-coma, but it also has a lot of like non-4-coma pages. But then, the bulk of it, I believe, is 4-coma, 4-panel comic series about this girl who forgets friends every week. So this boy is determined to be her friend, but she forgets him every week, and it's him trying to like get to the core problem and just become her friend and make her remember him. So it's a really sweet story. I watched the anime and loved it, and I've wanted to check out the manga for a while. Haven't read it yet, though. Next, he also had volume 1 of Complex Age, another series I've had my eye on for a long time, about an older, she's in her late 20s, cosplayer who's kind of aging out of the fandom and trying to come to terms with the fact that she still loves her hobby, but nobody really wants her to be doing it because she's now older and shouldn't be doing that kid stuff still. And so it's her trying to like come to terms with that, and pretty good so far. I haven't read any more. Obviously, I only own this first volume, but I believe it's 6 volumes long, and I've had my eye on it for a while, so nice to get it from him. And then he also had the first 3 volumes of Gangsta, which is another anime I really enjoyed and had wanted to check out the manga for a while, but just never did. This series was on hiatus for a long time and may still be on hiatus. I think it just recently restarted, but I think there's only like 8 or 9 volumes out or something like that. And then there's Gangsta Cursed, which is a side story or something. But a series I've wanted to check out for a long time. I don't remember the premise much, but I just remember really loving the anime. So yeah. Next, he had the first 5 volumes of Dorohedoro. This is a dark manga about this man who has a reptile head, a lizard head, and there's a bunch of sorcerers who come and experiment on people, and he is a victim of that. So he is trying to track down the sorcerer who gave him the lizard head and regain his memories, kill the sorcerer so he can get his regular head back. Yeah, so this is a 23-volume series, I believe, that just finished recently or is just finishing. So now I own the first 5, which I'm super stoked about. I'm enjoying this a lot more than I thought I would. I really kind of went into it only knowing that it's about a guy with a lizard head, but the action is awesome. The art is awesome. It's kind of violent, but like the art is just really cool. The world building's really cool. You can see all of the detail and stuff. The fight scenes are awesome. It's just really good. I'm really enjoying it, and hopefully I can pick up the rest of it and enjoy the rest of it as well. And then finally, for this month, the last thing I got from the guy on Kijiji is Doubt. This is a 4-volume but 2 omnibus series, kind of like a murder mystery group of people in one space. They have to figure out who's the killer kind of game sort of thing. I've had my eye on this since it came out because I thought the covers were super interesting with the rabbit heads and stuff. But it's Yen Press and they're omnibuses and they're very expensive, and just never bought it because I don't have high expectations for it. I just thought the cover was cool. But this guy had it and I was already buying a ton of stuff from him anyway, so I figured why not throw this in as well. It's the whole series, just the 2 omnibuses. So I'm excited to read it, and that is everything I got. If there's anything you want me to go into more detail about in a future video, any of the series I talked about, absolutely let me know. Yeah, I'm super stoked. I found a lot of stuff that I've had my eye on for a while and got a really good deal on all of it. So yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you if you sat through this whole thing, and yeah, see ya.